Hello, I'm Christine Pei, and thank you very much for joining us here on King 5 Plus. We are following breaking news out of Bellevue right now, where we are told there is a police response at the Bellevue Transit Center. Very few details in right now, but here is what we know so far. At 12:35 this afternoon, Bellevue police were called to the Bellevue Transit Center. As we give you a look at the transit center right now from one of our watchdog cameras, or rather one of our cameras overlooking that area, you can see that there is currently an active investigation. Now, this is all happening at the heart of downtown Bellevue on 6th Avenue and 110th Street, where streets have been closed to traffic because of this situation. Now, to reiterate, we do not know exactly what is happening in terms of what this situation entails, but we do know that there is a very large police presence right now happening in the heart of downtown, really, in downtown Bellevue, right near the Bellevue Transit Center. If you're familiar with the area, you know that many businesses are surrounding that area in addition to the upcoming light rail stop and, of course, Bellevue Square Mall just a short distance away. So we are following any details that come in, and we have sent 2 crews to the scene right now. King 5's Chris Ingalls is just minutes away from the scene. We are waiting for him to arrive with his live crew to give us some live pictures of the situation and get an update from there. We also have a second crew. King 5's Jim Nelson and a photographer are heading in that same direction to continue giving us any coverage. We do have some video from social media as well taken by residents around that area. And here, take a look. We're all looking at this at the same time as I am. This is from someone who obviously is living in a residence just overlooking the transit center. From that vantage point, it's difficult to really tell what is going on. All we know at this point is that there is a very large police presence with officers on scene right now. We can also see a fire truck as well in terms of first responders responding to the scene. And I think this is the only social media video that we have, but we did get this from a citizens platform that can show us really what they have been seeing. So as we continue following, we're going to be looking for that situation. So again, if you're just joining us right now, we are following a major police presence at the Bellevue Transit Center. And if you're familiar with the area, this is right along 6th Avenue and 110th Street. You can see in this video from this viewer that several police officers were there on scene. You can see that it's also very much an active situation. We've been following how things are looking live right now from that camera that is positioned right above that transit center. If we can take that just to kind of get a sense of what's happening minute by minute, and I'll stand by for just a second as I get some more information. So we do know also from Bellevue Police, of course, this is still very fluid. There is a staging area for the media. This goes to show that this is a very serious investigation happening right now. We are told that the staging area that our crews are heading to right now will be at the park at City Hall visitor parking, and that the PIO, Drew Anderson, is standing by and will provide any information as soon as our crew get over there. We're also getting word that the Bellevue Transit Center right now is closed because of this emergency response. We are told that people heading in that direction should use regular stops just prior to your transit center stop. So again, the Bellevue Transit Center is closed because of this emergency response. Very few details right now in terms of what exactly is going on, but clearly it is a very large investigation. We're also told in terms of anyone needing to use public transit in that area, Sound Transit Express 560 right now is rerouted until further notice because of the police activity at the Bellevue Transit Center. Okay, so we have those live pictures up right now, kind of overseeing what the situation is. Clearly still very seemingly open and empty at this point, but we did see the very large police presence there just moments ago. So if you're just catching up with us right now, we're following some breaking news out of Bellevue. We understand that there is an incident that happened earlier this afternoon around 12:35 p.m. Very few details coming in. We do have 2 crews on the way right now. We're standing by to maybe get some live pictures from on the ground. Chris Ingalls is heading there at this very moment, as well as our second reporter, Jim Nelson. So let me just gather some more information right now as we're catching up on the latest that we know in terms of the details here. If you're just joining us right now, also, if you're unfamiliar with the area, this is the Bellevue Transit Center, right near the Bellevue downtown area, not very far from really a large business district near the Bellevue Mall. I'm hearing from our producer that we're getting some new photos from some of our viewers and all that have been posted on social media. This is a different vantage point from the other video that we showed you moments ago. You can see that it was a pretty active scene. If we can hear a little bit from this audio.
Yeah, we saw them yesterday when they were smoking cigs.
Oh, really?
Yes, it does look like this is from a viewer, someone who posted on social media the situation there. You can see that areas of this transit center are pretty much blocked out. And okay, we'll continue watching these feeds for any additional photos and video that come in.
He's filming.
Okay, so again, we are following the very latest, another live look here from our cameras overlooking the Bellevue Transit Center, and we're waiting to get some more details. So again, we know that Bellevue police, they're on the scene right now at the Bellevue Transit Center, and we are waiting to get some more details about exactly what is going on. I'm going to just wait just a moment to look up some additional details that are really just coming in minute by minute. So one moment as I look this up. So again, this is an active police situation out of the Bellevue Transit Center. Let me look this up really quickly, just 1 second in the map right here. This is in a very, very busy area, right in the intersection of near 110th, between 110th Avenue and 108th Avenue, just south of 8th Street. And if you're familiar, this is in a very busy shopping area, the Bellevue Square Mall, just a couple of blocks away. But more specifically, most of this investigation seems to be centered in the Bellevue Transit Center. So if by chance you are needing to get through to this region, or if you know anybody who is needing to use any of the public transit in that area, the transit center is closed because of this emergency response. So we also know in terms of just how crowded and just busy this area is, the Bellevue High School is just less than a mile away. Also, Bellevue Library is blocks away as well. This is right between Bellevue Square and the Bravern Shopping Center. So we know that we're not hearing exactly of any evacuations or anything like that, or any advisories in that region, but just keep in mind that this is a very busy area, and also a major transit hub. Just to reiterate, we're still gathering some information, but the transit center is actually closed as this investigation is underway because of this police situation. And more specifically, the Sound Transit Express 560 is rerouted until further notice because of the police activity happening at Bellevue Transit Center. So if you happen to be just joining us on King 5 Plus, thank you so much for tuning in. We are following some major breaking news out of downtown Bellevue, very busy transit area right near the shopping center. All we know at this point is that there is a very large police investigation happening right now. We do have two crews on their way right now, King 5's Chris Ingalls and Jim Nelson. They are heading in that very direction for the very latest. I'm getting some more updates right now. It looks like buses and light rail connected through this area, obviously very busy in terms of people getting through to get to the east side. And of course, all of that is on hold. So this has been very disruptive as this police investigation gets underway. We're going to continue gathering some more information. We're going to take a really quick break, and we'll be right back after this. Stay with us. Aiden, okay, I'll start over here. Okay, is there any more that came in by chance? Okay. Welcome back and thank you for joining us. We are following some major breaking news happening right now out of Bellevue, where we are told there is a very large police response happening at the Bellevue Transit Center, really at the heart of downtown Seattle. Very few details in right now, but here's what we know so far. Around 12:35 this afternoon, police were called to the Bellevue Transit Center for a response to something. That is all we know at this point. We are working right now to gather some more information officially. This is all happening at the heart, really, again, of downtown Bellevue along 6th Avenue and 110th Street, where streets have been closed to traffic right now. On the left side of your screen is a live picture of the transit center from one of our cameras, our transportation cameras, I believe, where we have been seeing a large Bellevue police presence there right now. So we're going to be laying out any of the details that we know so far to the best of our abilities until we get our live crews on the ground. We're also scanning social media, some videos and also some pictures from people who have been posting on social media, and this kind of gives us a bit of a better sense of what might be happening there. You can see a couple of fire engines to respond. At least, I'm seeing in this vantage point from the video earlier this afternoon, at least a couple of police cruisers there on scene. You can see it's fairly empty in the area, which is normally a very busy hub, because we are told that some of the streets are right now blocked and closed because of this very active police investigation. As we continue to look at this video from different vantage points in the residences around the Bellevue Transit Center, we are working very quickly to get a couple of crews on the way to give us some live pictures on the ground. We know King 5's Chris Ingalls is on his way right now, gathering the very latest, and that we also have King 5's Jim Nelson, who is heading there right now. And we are getting a little bit of information from the Bellevue Police Department in terms of some of the staging information that we here at King 5 are receiving in terms of where we need to go to gather any more info. We're going to be staging, I believe, at the City Hall visitor area. And we're going to be getting some more information from Bellevue PD PIO Drew Anderson as soon as we are able to reach them, and we are awaiting any word and any official information that we can get from them. Right now, all we know at this point is that this is an active investigation underway. Very, very few details. As we know, we've been covering a lot of these situations, very fluid. Nothing has been confirmed yet. We are working to confirm any information, but we do want to let you know, at least in terms of this breaking news, that there is a very active investigation underway in a really busy area. We're talking about a transit center, Bellevue Transit Center, in the heart of downtown Bellevue, where there are a lot of shops. There's the Bellevue Square Mall, not far from there. Also the Bravern shops, various restaurants as well, if you're familiar. Downtown Park, the park, the Circle Park in that area, also very popular in terms of the traffic and the potential pedestrian traffic in that area. But again, if you're catching up with us, the Transit Center, Bellevue Transit Center, located near 6th Avenue and 110th, is closed right now because of this active investigation. So let me take a moment to, as we maybe can show you some more of the social media videos, as I just gather a little bit more information as I can. So one moment, stand by as I look some stuff up.
Weird that they have that whole street closed up. I'm pretty sure I saw a bunch of kids walking around in suits today. I think Decca might be.
Yeah, we saw them yesterday when they were smoking cigs.
Oh, really?
One thing to note as we look at these videos is that again the transit center is closed, but if you do need to get there and get around, Sound Transit Express 560, we're told, is rerouted until further notice because of this police activity, again, happening at the Bellevue Transit Center. And that is indefinite. We don't know exactly how long this is going to be staying closed, but we, of course, are going to be watching this situation very closely. Okay, we're going to continue gathering any more information, and please stay with us. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Okay, great job. This is what I'm going to do. Chris Ingalls is going to
Hello, and thank you for joining us on our live stream right now on King 5 Plus. We are following breaking news, and if you're just now joining us, there is a very large police situation and investigation happening out of downtown Bellevue. Very few details in right now, but we're really working our best to gather the very latest information and confirm any information that we are hearing. Our goal, of course, was to get immediately on the stream and let you know what we know so far, as this is a very fluid situation. So here's what we know so far as we give you another live look. This is one of the only pictures that we're able to show you live as we wait for some of our live crews to get their cameras up and running so that we can give you another live look on the ground. But this is happening at the Bellevue Transit Center. And all we know so far is that at 12:35 this afternoon, police were called to the Bellevue Transit Center earlier today for some sort of investigation. All we know in terms of confirmed information at this point is that they are there and they have closed the surrounding roads because of this situation. So if you're familiar with this area, this is the Bellevue Transit Center, not very far from a very busy shopping center. And you can imagine we are in the holiday shopping mode right now. A lot of people might be there doing some of their last minute holiday shopping. It is a Friday afternoon, not very far, about a couple of blocks away from the Bellevue Square Mall. So again, this is happening around in the vicinity of 6th Avenue and 110th Streets. Traffic in that area has basically been closed as this investigation gets underway. We also know that because of the transit center being closed right now, it might be disruptive to public transit. Actually, I'm just getting now word. We are literally doing this live on the phone. I do have King 5's Chris Ingalls on the phone, on speakerphone right now, just to give us a sense of what might be going on. So Chris, good to hear from you. Can you tell us what you're seeing and whereabouts you are near the transit center?
Sure, Christine. And you let me know if you can't hear me okay, because I'm on some...
I can hear you. Loud and clear, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I'm standing with a sign that's very familiar to anybody that catches the bus through Bellevue. It's the Bellevue Transit Center, and we're basically roped off outside of 110th Street at Northeast 6th Street. So it's kind of the main intersection here that people at Bellevue would know very well. And there's lots of yellow tape around here. Now, I cannot tell you very much in the way of specifics about what has happened, but there are police officers all over this area. on this report of an officer-involved shooting, and I hear sirens in the distance as we talk right now. So we're not sure the specifics of what happened exactly. However, we do know that this major transit hub is just completely shut down, which is going to be a big impact for Friday rush hour now approaching. So a lot of police around here. The sidewalks are closed down. A few people walking by nearby, with yellow tape all over the place, and no signs of anything visible here at Christine, except a lot of police vehicles that, of course, we can tell that a big investigation is underway.
Chris, can you give us a sense of exactly how many police vehicles are you seeing? Because we're gathering that this is a pretty intense investigation. You had mentioned that this is a possible officer-involved shooting. Of course, we are working to confirm that right now, standing by, of course, to get that official information from Bellevue PD. But in terms of the scale of the response, how is it right now?
Well, it's very large. I mean, you asked me how many police vehicles. I'd say 20 plus. And when I rolled into the City Hall parking garage, there were a couple of detectives in front of me with their emergency lights on. So more are arriving, even adding to the number of uniformed officers that are here right now. So yeah, it's a large investigation. I'm not sure who will conduct it. A lot of times when this sort of thing happens, if it is an officer-involved shooting, outside police agency will come and investigate. King County has a specialized unit for that. So we're just waiting to do.
I'm pretty sure.
Have you heard from Bellevue, or have you reached out to Bellevue PD in terms of when might we hear from them? Are they going to have a news conference or anything? We understand that there's a media staging area near the transit center.
Yeah, there is, and there's a public information officer here who's gathering now. I mean, it couldn't be much closer, right across from City Hall here. It's a plaza. It's an area that anybody knows the heart of Bellevue. If you think of, the Bell Square area, not far from that, we're at 6th and 110. So I'm expecting that somebody's going to walk up and talk to us here fairly soon.
Right. I can't help but also remember that, this is not far from the Bellevue Square Mall and a lot of other shopping areas. We're talking about a really busy holiday shopping time. Are you seeing any pedestrians and people any busyness around that area because of some of these road closures?
No, because it's roped off so completely right now, Christine. I mean, there's a large plaza, if I could describe the area right across from City Hall, right across on 110th Avenue Northeast. There's a large building. You know how Bellevue has all these gleaming buildings now. This is City Center Plaza, and then behind that, there's a large plaza, a large open area, and that seems to be the area where officers are concentrated. We certainly haven't been able to go down into that area. And I see a group of what looks like civilians, sort of walking out. They may be coming out of one of these buildings. Yeah, there's an area that we can't see, and I just suspect that that's where whatever happened.
Sure. And 20 plus vehicles, that is significant. We're going to stand by and get some, we'll get back to you, Chris, to get some more information. Thank you so much for giving us the latest update on that. We'll check back in with you. Okay, bye. Okay, you heard it there. That was King 5's Chris Ingalls, who is there now on the ground near the Bellevue Transit Center. And as you heard from him, just to recap what he was able to tell us, this is a very significant police presence there right now. He told us that he was seeing with his own eyes about 20 Bellevue PD police vehicles on scene, and that the roads and the various streets surrounding that very busy transit center, again, are closed right now as this investigation gets underway. We're going to take a moment to gather some more information. We'll be right back after this quick break. Hello, and thank you for joining us for this breaking news update all right here on King 5 Plus. We are following some big breaking news out of downtown Bellevue, where there is a very large police response and investigation happening right at the Bellevue Transit Center. If you're just joining us now, we just talked with King 5's Chris Ingalls, who is on the scene right now gathering the very latest information. We are going to try to catch up with him in just a few moments and maybe get some live pictures from on the ground. But here's what we know so far. Earlier this afternoon, around 12:35, Bellevue police were called to the transit center for some sort of situation. We are waiting to get that confirmed, waiting to get any more additional details on what exactly was going on. Right now, here is a DOT cam, a Bellevue DOT cam overlooking the Bellevue Transit Center, where you can see it is still an active investigation. From this vantage point, we were only seeing maybe about a handful, about 4 different police cruisers and vehicles out there. But when I spoke with Chris just moments ago, he saw a very much larger police presence, saying that he saw with his eyes about 20 plus police vehicles, which just goes to show you that the significance of this level of a police response. We are still working to confirm information. Chris had said that they are looking into maybe whether this is a possible officer-involved shooting. This is certainly something that we are checking on. Very few details coming in, but this is something that we are working to get some more confirmed information. Again, if you're catching up with us, this is happening in the heart of downtown Bellevue, right along 6th Avenue and 110th Streets. The streets in that area are right now closed to traffic because of this investigation. It's really in the heart of downtown, surrounded by the Bellevue Square Mall, not very far away, and also downtown Park, the park not far from the mall as well. We're following this as crews are also on the way. King 5's Jim Nelson is heading there right now to gather the very latest, in addition to Chris Ingalls, to provide some coverage and hopefully some live pictures from the ground as soon as we get them. We're also tracking some social media videos that have been posted by some people who live in the surrounding areas. We have a video that was taken by a resident in one of the high rises there to kind of give us a different vantage point, a different view of the situation from earlier this afternoon. We'll pull that up for you in just a moment. We're also getting some additional information right now that just came in. I'm seeing some of this info that's posted from our news desk in terms of any of the detours from the Bellevue Transit Center. So I'm going to read it to you right now. Of course, the transit center is closed, but for the people who do rely on public transportation in that area, keep note of this. The Sound Transit Express Route 560 has been rerouted until further notice because of the police activity happening at the transit center. Outbound riders must get off at Northeast 6th Street and 110th Avenue Northeast instead of Bay 6. So if you rely on that route at the Bellevue Transit Center, if you know anybody who relies on that route, you can pass along that information. That was outbound riders. As for the inbound riders, they are now going to be boarding at the Northeast 4th Street and 110th Avenue Northeast instead of Bay 7. Okay, I'm just now getting word from our producers that Chris Ingalls is now ready to show us some live pictures. So Chris, I don't know if you can hear me, but there you are. Good to see you, Chris. I know this is still a very fluid situation. You just got there on the ground. What can you show us?
Well, let's put some pictures on the things that I was just telling you over the phone. This is the Bellevue Transit Center that I was talking about. I'm standing along 110th here. This is Northeast 6th Street this way, and if Jose takes his camera over this way, you'll see the scene that we're talking about. This is the area that's shut off here right outside the Bellevue Transit Center on Northeast 6th Street. And I'm getting a little bit of feedback here, so I'm going to pull this out of my ear. But as we said, Christine, we have been told, we understand this is an officer-involved shooting. That's not confirmed yet. We're waiting for a public information officer to come here to the scene where all the media are lined up here, ready to hear more. But Jose, if you turn this way, you'll see this is the Bellevue Transit Center that's familiar to a lot of people. Major traffic hub here in King County. It's shut down right now. There's a plaza over here behind City Center Plaza that's kind of an open area that seems to be where officers have kind of sealed things off. We don't know that anything's happened in that area. The whole road is shut down here. But we do know there's no buses coming through here, no vehicles. We had to pass through a police blockade at the road to get here, and it's my understanding that a number of different transportation services are shut down now because this major hub is shut down. So people will need to check before they ride, really. Right now, we're just here waiting for the public information officer to tell us exactly what's going on because we don't know much. But there are police officers all over the place here. Uniformed officers, a couple of detectives rolled in at the same time we pulled into the city parking garage, which you see in the background there. And it's been a busy place, but we don't have a lot of details yet.
Okay, Chris, thank you very much for that latest update on the ground. We so appreciate it. Clearly, it's still a very active scene, and you can see in those pictures that things are very much closed. We appreciate the very latest update. Okay, so before we get back to Chris, I was laying out some of the different detours that are coming from Sound Transit because of this closure. As you all know, that this is a major hub out of Sound Transit. As I was saying, inbound riders right now are boarding at Northeast 4th Street and 110th Avenue Northeast instead of Bay 7. And effective services do include, if I can just lay them out to you, the Metro routes 226, 240, 250, 271, 981, the DART 249, Rapid Ride B Line, and the Sound Transit Express 550, 556, and 566. These are all impacted by the transit center closure. So we're going to continue watching that situation. And it sounds like we're also going to be hearing from Jim Nelson hopefully pretty soon in just a few minutes. We know that he and his crew, they're on the way right now to the Bellevue Transit Center to get any of the latest information. I don't know if we do have some live pictures now that we can show you from Chris Ingalls and his photojournalist. You can see as they're walking, just kind of giving us a sense of what is happening right now. Obviously a very active investigation and a very large one considering they stopped all public transit right now going through the Bellevue Transit Center. So this is a pretty serious situation. You can see that officers are moving. We're also working to get some more confirmed information as well from Bellevue PD. We're standing by, hopefully, to get some more official information from them, and also trying to get to see if they're going to have maybe perhaps a news conference that we can continue following. Let's, if we can, pull up some of the social media posts that we've been seeing and really relying on to give us a better sense of what might be happening there on the ground. We see in this vantage point, and this was earlier this afternoon, where there was at least some fire trucks there as well. So in terms of what we know so far, this happened around 12:35 this afternoon. It's already been about a couple of hours as we continue to get some more information. But if you're at all familiar with this area, this is not very far from the Bellevue Mall and also some of some shopping areas and restaurants that are there as well. So we also know that it is very, very close to the library, and we are going to continue gathering the very latest. So one moment until as I gather some more information, and I'll be with you in just a second.
Yeah, he's live streaming.
Welcome back. I'm Christine Pei with the breaking news update. We are following a very major police investigation happening out of downtown Bellevue. King 5's Chris Ingalls is on the ground right now. We understand he has some confirmed information. I think we do have his live shot ready. There he is. So Chris, what can you tell us? He just got some more info.
That's right, Christine. The Bellevue Police Department has now confirmed that this is an officer-involved shooting that happened here at the Bellevue Transit Center, where you can see there are police vehicles still in a kind of a holding pattern right now as they wait for the county's force investigation team to come out here. So while we still don't have our on-the-record briefing in front of the camera yet, we can tell you that it was around 1:30 or so where there was some kind of a call to the Bellevue Transit Center, or maybe a request for assistance, that kind of thing. An officer came out here. We don't know what transpired after that. We don't know the nature of the call. We don't know what happened next. We don't know the nature of the injuries, but we're told that an officer and a suspect were injured in whatever encounter happened. They have both been taken to the hospital. We don't know their condition. And we know that a lot of police officers are now here at the Bellevue Transit Center, which is shut down really and having a big impact on transit on a Friday afternoon. And we do expect to get an on-camera briefing as to what happened in the future, but we don't know how long that's going to take because there is an independent force investigation team that comes out for these kind of investigations, and there may be some protocols before somebody gets out here in front of a camera and tells us exactly what happened. But an officer injured, a suspect injured, we don't know how gravely they're injured. They're at the hospital being evaluated now, is our understanding, and we expect to get more information later.
Chris, you know, it's good to get that confirmed. We have been seeing reports of that, so thank you for confirming that. We follow a lot of officer-involved shootings, and just from your experience, you're seeing the scale of this investigation happening right there. It seems to be a very, very big police response. Does that give you a sense of how, obviously, any officer-involved shooting is very, very serious, but this gives you an idea of the scale of this investigation?
It does, and you know, we're in a very public area, Christine. I think that's one thing you have to remember. I mean, we're right across from City Hall. We're at the major transportation hub for this one of the largest cities in the state of Washington. So it's a very busy area, and there are a lot of officers here, and I'm sure the response was tremendous because we now know that it was an officer-involved shooting. So in my experience, it's not uncommon when an officer is involved in a shooting to have a big call out. A lot of officers show up. They're always sure there's plenty of personnel on the scene. Now everybody's kind of in a holding pattern because there is an independent force investigation team whose mission is to investigate situations exactly like this.
Chris, you know, as we stand by for more information directly from police, I know you're standing by as well. We here in King 5 and Soto, you made it out to Bellevue real quick. What was it like trying to get to that area? Because we know that the surrounding streets and the roads are closed at the Bellevue Transit Center. So can you give us a sense of what the surrounding traffic situation might be around that area if people are wanting to head over there?
Sure. I mean, you know, just as a an explanation of where we came to get in here, it was a little bit difficult because so much is blocked off. So here's Northeast 6th. This is 1/10 that's down at the end of the road, and that's blocked off at 4th. And then if you go down this way, you can see on Northeast 6th here, traffic is being routed down on this side, you know, down 6th Street, or people are turning around like that. So, and then at the far end of the Bellevue Transit Center, and frankly, I'm not that familiar with that end, so I'm not sure what's down there, but it's shut down as well. And Jose, I don't know how far your camera can get down there, but there are numerous police officers that are here in the foreground, and then in the background, there's a couple more patrol vehicles with officers out looking at things, and then you've got some officers walking here. And then we do know now that this shooting, officer-involved shooting, happened out here somewhere in the plaza area. So this is a major area that's shut down. The roads around here, Christine, from my view driving in here, they weren't that bad. But again, we're just getting into rush hour now.
Not only rush hour, but also, my understanding from looking at the map, we're not terribly far, that area, the transit center is not terribly far from the shopping centers and the mall. I can imagine it's a Friday afternoon heading into the weekend. I can imagine there might be some traffic and some people heading in that direction. So good information to know. Chris, do you have a sense of when you might be able to hear from Bellevue PD with an update?
No, and we got this little bit of information from the department, and they were very clear that they were working on trying to get somebody in front of the camera to explain things a little more. But there are these protocols because there's an independent team that has to come and start gathering information, and so we don't know how long that process is going to take.
Sure. Okay. Thank you so much, Chris Singles. I know you have to do some gathering as well. We'll check back in with you in just a moment. We appreciate the very latest updates. Again, if you're catching up with us right now, there is now an officer-involved shooting investigation underway in downtown Bellevue, right at the Bellevue Transit Center. Chris Ingalls is on the ground gathering the very latest, but he was able to confirm that information. We also have another crew heading in that direction as well. King 5's Jim Nelson and a photographer are also heading over there to bring us some additional coverage, as we now know that this is a very large investigation happening out of downtown Bellevue, now confirmed as an officer-involved shooting investigation. We'll be right back after this quick break. Stay with us. Hello and thanks for joining us. Welcome back. We are following a breaking news situation out of downtown Bellevue right now. We have confirmed that this is an officer-involved shooting investigation happening right now in Bellevue. This is specifically happening at the Bellevue Transit Center, where earlier this morning, sometime between 12:35 and maybe 1:30 this afternoon, police were called to the Bellevue Transit Center. Somewhere along the way, there was a shooting that happened. So I'm going to lay out some of the confirmed information that we just got from King 5's Chris Ingalls just moments ago, if you've been following us. But here's what we know so far from Bellevue PD, that there was a call to the Bellevue Transit Center this afternoon. An officer arrived to respond. It is unsure what the nature of this call was specifically, but there was a police response. We do know that a suspect and an officer are injured. It is unsure, we are uncertain the nature or the severity of their injuries, and their conditions are unknown as well. One thing to emphasize here is this is all preliminary information. We are just now getting this very early from Bellevue PD. So please stay with us as we get some more details in terms of what exactly happened. You saw from Chris Ingalls live on the ground that the roads and the streets surrounding this area, Bellevue Transit Center, are closed. And to get more specific in terms of the intersection, if you are just getting familiar with the area, this is right along 108th Avenue Northeast, just south of 8th Street. And we saw from Chris Ingalls' live pictures that pretty much all those surrounding roads are closed. This vantage point right here is a look from our Bellevue DOT cam, showing that this is still an active investigation. And again, pretty empty, not a lot of traffic right now on a busy, typically what would be a busy Friday afternoon because those roads are closed. Let me just take a moment to look at some new information that I'm getting in right now at our desk in terms of other Bellevue officer-involved shootings. The last one that we have been following that we know of was about, let me just look at this really quickly, about 4 months ago in August of this year that a suspect fired an air rifle at officers, and that was another investigation that we had been following at that time. So clearly a very what I can imagine is an emotional response from Bellevue PD right now, considering this is at least one of the second officer-involved shootings that they are involved in so far this year. If you're catching up with us, this is all happening in the Bellevue Transit Center. It is a very typically busy part of the city, right in the heart of downtown, not very far from a very robust shopping district. Keep in mind, this is not only a Friday afternoon heading into the weekend, this is a Friday about a couple of weeks before the holidays, so a very, very busy time. As we are standing by to maybe get some more information from Chris Ingalls and hopefully another live look from the ground, something to keep in mind in terms of officer-involved shootings. Of course, anytime we get word of this is something that we pay very close attention to. Just not long ago, earlier this month, a couple of weeks ago in Seattle, there was an officer-involved shooting at a transit center there in the Othello light rail station in that area. So keep in mind that these incidents are very serious. We're talking about very high pedestrian areas and clearly a very serious situation. If we can pull up maybe some other video that we've been gathering from social media, kind of showing a different vantage point of what might be happening. This is actually from earlier this afternoon. This is a vantage point from a viewer who, not necessarily a viewer, someone who posted on social media to show what it looked like from the residence that they're in. One moment as I get some more information. Back in December 9th in 2024, actually, 1 year ago, there was a deadly officer-involved shooting in the Factoria neighborhood. We understand this involved a 67-year-old involving someone with a knife and garden shields who were killed. So this is clearly not something new that Bellevue PD has been investigating and has been involved with, and we're going to get some more information as soon as we get it. In fact, I think we have King 5's Chris Ingalls live again for us to give us another update. So Chris, last we heard from you was about maybe 10 minutes ago. Were you able to get any new information? What can you tell us?
Well, just what I'm sort of gathering with my own eyes, Christine. Again, we do have confirmation now that this is an officer-involved shooting, an officer and a suspect. That's the word of our briefer. are at the hospital receiving treatment, but we don't know the extent of their injuries or exactly what happened. I can tell you though, there's not a great zoom on this camera. Let me set that stage first. But down this way, far down there, that's kind of where officers are concentrating now. So this is the Bellevue Transit Center, main transit hub in the city of Bellevue, and that's under the awning, the roof there of the Bellevue Transit Center that the officers seem to be concentrated. So, you know, just looking at it, if I had to guess, maybe that's the spot this happened, although I can't say that necessarily. There's also the large plaza behind the city center building that's next to me here. People have been walking out of there, though, maybe employees, workers, that kind of thing. But we do have a lot of police officers here. Again, confirmed as an officer-involved shooting, confirmed there's 2 injuries, and those that officer or that suspect are at the hospital. There's no activity at the transit center in terms of buses going through or anything like that. This area is cordoned off and cars are driving around this area, no buses or any kind of public transportation coming through. I mean, I'm looking over here now where you can see how people get up to this area. And, you know, there's people over by the elevators over there, the stairs and that kind of thing, but nobody's getting on buses in this area. And officers at this point are waiting for the King County Force Investigation Team to come out here, because that's the independent unit that actually handles these investigations now. So Bellevue Police have not given us an official briefing. We expect to get that. We just don't know when.
Chris, if I can just orient myself a little bit in that area. You are at the Bellevue Transit Center right on 6th and 10th Avenue. By chance, I'm just curious, is that where one of the light rail stations is going to be opening sometime next year? Or is it just buses?
Boy, you're ahead of me then, Christine, because I'm just not sure. I mean, this would be the obvious spot for it because there's so much bus transportation here, but I'm not sure where that actually ends up. I know it kind of veers away from the main rail a little bit, makes a little jog through an area, but I'm not sure exactly what the direction is, so forgive me, I don't know the answer to that. But we are in a main traffic area. I mean, I'm standing here right now at Northeast 6th and 110th Northeast, right across from City Hall, right next to the Transit Center, so just a major hub here in town.
Yes, and I got you there, and no worries, I was just curious because I'm just recalling another officer-involved shooting here in Seattle that happened earlier this month at a light rail station in the, I believe, around the Othello stop involving Seattle PD. And it just goes to show that this is a busy area. There are a lot of people that pass through here. And of course, we're still waiting to get some more information from police. But it sounds like even from what I'm seeing where you are, that this is what I imagine is typically a very busy area.
Yeah, to your point, you know, it was around 1:30 today. The call came in for a request for service at the Bellevue Transit Center here, the Bellevue Transit Center hub, and we don't know what that call was exactly, and we don't know what happened once the officer got there, and we certainly don't know what led to the 2 injuries of the officer and the suspect, although this has been described to us as an officer-involved shooting, which would tend to indicate, you know, an officer fired his weapon at somebody, but that's not confirmed yet. So it is a busy area. It's cleared out now, but I can't imagine how many people might have been around and been a witness to this thing. We haven't seen any evidence that they've pulled any witnesses off to the side or anything like that, but you just would assume there was people around.
You know, we heard from you earlier in terms of what the traffic situation might be around that surrounding area where the roads are closed off. Can you tell us again, Chris, what it was like for you and your crew to get there? I mean, are we talking about a big blockage just around the area as people are trying to perhaps get through downtown Bellevue?
Yeah, there are streets around City Hall and around City Center Plaza building and around the Bellevue Transit Center. There's streets, you know, east, west, north, south, and people can pretty much, as far as I can tell, just looking now, you know, traffic is still flowing around this area okay, but 110th Avenue Northeast, which we're standing along now, and 6th Avenue, or Northeast 6th Street, which actually leads right into the Transit Center here, those are shut down. So you can't get through the heart of this area, but I think you can get around it.
Certainly. Okay, Chris, thank you so much. I know you're awaiting to get some more information from Bellevue PD. We're going to be standing by for hopefully any official information that we can get. But again, to kind of recap for you in terms of what we know so far, this is an officer-involved shooting investigation underway involving the Bellevue Police Department. Earlier this afternoon, there was a call to Bellevue Transit Center. An officer arrived there to respond. It is still unclear what the nature of that call was initially. However, we do know that a suspect and an officer were injured. Their injuries, at this point, we are unsure of the extent and the severity of their injuries. Okay, so we just heard from Chris Ingalls on the scene. We also have a second crew there as well. King 5's Jim Nelson is also there at the scene in downtown Bellevue at the Bellevue Transit Center. So Jim, good to see you. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Christine, we just got here and I was listening in on your chat there with Chris. Not a ton of new information or different information than what Chris just relayed to you, but just to clarify, one of the questions you had about light rail as we'll swing around here. This is the Bellevue downtown light rail station where trains are running, and they're still running as scheduled. We've seen the trains going back and forth. That's directly across the street, just over 110th Avenue Northeast, and we're on Northeast 6th Street, so that's directly across the street from the scene itself, and that's where the bulk of this investigation is taking place, at least from our vantage point. Obviously, they've got it taped off with the crime scene tape. You can see a number of officers there, a number of squad cars as these, I would suspect, patrol officers here for the time being. And as Chris mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, there will be the independent investigation, which is customary. It's actually law. So it'll be the King County Force Investigation Team that will handle this investigation because it is an officer-involved shooting. And we use that term. We like to be more specific when we know those details to kind of describe the specific actions that have taken place. But at this point, we just don't know that. So we're using the term officer-involved shooting kind of broadly. Hopefully we'll get more specific information when we do hear from Bellevue Police in a more formal setting. We suspect that will happen, although just based on how these things go, I can't imagine we'll get a ton of information beyond the initial set of facts, just because there will be another agency that ultimately comes in. They probably don't want to compromise or have the appearance of compromising that investigation. So we do expect to hear something. What exactly that is, of course, remains to be seen. We'll be out here for the bulk of the night, and of course, we'll have that briefing live as soon as that happens. And we, of course, Christine, will be checking in with updates as they become available.
Jim, I do want to ask you, you have been a reporter for many years. You've covered other officer-involved shooting investigations. As you were pulling up to that scene with your crew, did you kind of get a sense of the scale of this investigation? I see a lot of yellow tape behind you. Can you give us a sense of how many police cars are there that you passed by? Just to give us a sense of the significance of this investigation right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a huge investigation, and inside the perimeter itself, I can see 2, maybe 3 over on this side, and then if we'll walk over to the other side, kind of between this island at the transit center, there's a whole line of police cruisers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's just as far as we can see because there's a hill. There may be more over on the other side of the hill, and then that, of course, again, inside the perimeter. Outside of that, as far as those who are kind of handling traffic, there's another 10, maybe 12 vehicles just kind of in the immediate area, but outside of the perimeter itself. And you talk about the sense that I got when we pulled in. I have covered many incidents like this, and you see a little bit different look on the officers' faces when it's something like this. So again, we don't know the facts at this point, the full facts, I should say, other than that it is an officer-involved shooting. So hopefully we get that clarity soon, Christine.
And Jim, another thing just to point out, I mean, this transit center is actually not very far from a very busy shopping hub. I'm looking at a map. Of course, I'm a little familiar with that area. We've all been shopping at that mall. Many of us have. Did you get a sense that it was busy? I mean, we're talking about Friday afternoon, looking into the holiday season in just a couple of weeks right now. I can't help but think about the people who might still want to pass through that area right now this afternoon.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And I think anybody who's been in this area knows this is busy. It really doesn't matter the time of day, but you talk about a Friday, we're getting closer to the end of the day, maybe people leaving work a little bit earlier. We haven't seen that huge after work crowd, but people have walked by and many stop and they look, probably don't know what exactly has happened. So there is a lot of that, and that speaks to, and I think you mentioned this a few minutes earlier when you were speaking with Chris, it speaks to just how busy it is, and you're talking about any type of violence or altercation in a very busy hub with a lot of people. That can go south real quick. So in that sense, you know, thankfully, you hate to even use that word, there's only 2 people involved from what we've heard so far. It could have been worse. I know that's a cliche, but given what we know about this area, it could have been. And that, of course, in no way diminishes the fact that there are 2 people injured.
Certainly, because keeping note that this is a busy transit center, I mean, there's probably a lot of pedestrian traffic that goes through that area. Of course, we are going to be getting some more information, and we're working to get that information officially from Bellevue Police. We're going to be standing by, hopefully, maybe ideally a news conference of sorts coming up. So thank you very much, Jim Nelson, live for us on the ground at the Bellevue Transit Center. We'll catch up with you in just a moment. If we can, if we can take a quick break, we're going to be right back after this and just gather some more information. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's Christine Pei. We are breaking in right now on King 5 Plus to give you this breaking news update. We have been streaming right now for the past 45 minutes, I would say, with this breaking news update about an officer-involved shooting investigation underway happening in downtown Bellevue, more specifically at the Bellevue Transit Center. We heard from our live reporters on the ground. Chris Ingalls is there gathering some more information, as is King 5's Jim Nelson. We have been able to confirm a very preliminary information right now coming from Bellevue Police that this happened again at the Transit Center, as we give you live pictures of the scene right now. Plenty of yellow tape, and there are a lot of closures. This is actually video from just moments ago. We are still trying to get some more specific information in terms of the conditions of the officer who was shot and also a suspect who was shot. The nature of their injuries is not confirmed right now. We are working to get that information. Their condition is unclear at this hour as well. But we are hoping to hear from Bellevue PD as soon as we get that information. They're also gathering, and this investigation is very much underway. Keep in mind also that this is the second, at least, officer-involved shooting involving Bellevue police so far this year. There was one that happened earlier this summer in August. Of course, this latest one is still developing very much. We will work our best to get the very latest information. Stay with us right here on King 5 Plus for the very latest. We will also have another live update on air on King 5 at 4 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining us.